Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to discuss some things involving some of the reasoning to why I am doing this YouTube channel. Not only from a general perspective, but we are going to, or at least I am going to present to you some of the insights that I have regarding this thing of AI software technology. So the reason why it's important for, if you're a basic, if you are basic in technology, like when I say that, I mean like you're like me, you know basics, right? You're not going to sugarcoat nothing. You're not going to exaggerate anything involving what it is that you are within that particular spectrum. And I think that's important, that we have common ground, that we have authenticity, right? And so like I grew up with, in the 1980s, we were introduced to the computers, you know, the Apple computers, the whole discs and everything, and you know, the whole Yukon and Oregon Trail and Mavis Beacon typing. But it was, you know, nothing more, nothing less. Didn't really, at least I didn't personally get super involved with that. It was obviously overshadowed by the introduction of Nintendo devices at that time. And so it was always like on a surface level basis when computers were involved in my life, and that was like at school library, right? We didn't have one at home. I didn't get a computer until 1999 when I graduated from high school. I graduated from high school and my Aunt Elizabeth bought me a Gateway 2000. I was super, like every time I share it, like I'm not just like sharing it on YouTube and getting excited for YouTube. Like every time I share it, I get excited because I relive that moment every time that I think about the context and the reality of it. Like, yeah, I was a decade knee deep into video games, and so I guess that kind of, it was still fun, but it kind of ran its course in order to pave way to have interest for something more advanced, right, with technology. And so when my aunt got me a Gateway 2000 computer, oh my goodness, like we didn't have Wi-Fi, we had the dial-up. Everybody that grew up in my age, you know, I'm 43 years old. So, you know, in the 80s and the 90s, you know what the technology was like. You know that when the late 90s came around, we had the dial-up to where nobody in the house could use the telephone at the moment because the telephone was plugged into the the computer modem. And so yeah, I had a Gateway 2000, and I didn't have no extra accessories to go along with it. We had I had discs that could go inside of the ROM, the CD-ROM, and they were Microsoft Encarta. And oh my goodness, I cannot begin to tell you how many thousands of hours, like literally, I spent thousands of hours on Microsoft. It was like a encyclopedia type thing. And the reason for that was not only for interest's sake and because of like the new technology age coming, but my Aunt Nina and her husband, my Uncle Ronald, all of our lives growing up in the 80s and 90s, both them and another part of our family, Morris and Samantha, they always had these Britannica and encyclopedia books. And you know, once in a while, that was before internet. You know, we'd always, whenever we had a lot of fun time growing up, best times of our lives. But there were times where, like when it was downtime, we would go to those books and just like, you know, skim through them, and some of the things and the information within those and the pictures, the images that went with some of the information that was provided caught our attention. And so I guess that's where that kind of came from, is when I got that Gateway 2000, it was the world to me. Oh my goodness. And I started getting into Microsoft Word more. I started getting into Microsoft Excel, getting into Microsoft Paint, and then, obviously a couple of years later they came out with Yahoo, Yahoo Messenger, Yahoo Pool. You could play pool against other people from around the world, and that was just like out of this world stuff. And so those were like the beginning stages of me, and I'm sure for a lot of other, I mean, that was just the trend, that was the thing, right? So that was my experience. And I never forget those moments. That was, as I look back in hindsight, those were the moments that were my first stages of really being enveloped and I don't want to say consumed, but delving into this new age of technology. And so, fast forward today. I could go on with a whole bunch of other stuff and end up going on a rabbit trail, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to stick to this particular subject. So fast forward to today. That was in 2000, 99, 2000, 2001. And so now we're in 2025. And as of a couple of years ago, our society started getting dumped with this new thing of AI technology. And there's a whole bunch of different, and you guys know this, there's a whole bunch of different segments and compartmentalized institutions to what AI is, right? And so the particular area that I'm talking about is AI software technology. Like, I really got into that. And the reason why I really got into it is because not only am I a businessman, but I'm a striving entrepreneur that wants to be successful in the world of business, especially if it's going to involve being able to help other people. Like, that is my ulterior motive within all of this. Like, would it be nice to get 1 million likes? Would it be awesome to be able to, what did they say, monetize and grow a YouTube channel? Like, my understanding is you got to get 1,000 subscribers in order to even at least try to entertain that, right? So yeah, that would be nice, but that wouldn't be the reason why I both initiated this and continue in it, because it's just something that I like to do. It's just as simple as the introduction that I shared with you when I got my first Gateway 2000 computer. It's just something that I do. I'm interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in learning. And it was like so I've always, obviously you hear from a lot of successful businessmen that, whether they dropped out of college or they started many businesses in which more than half of them failed, and then they finally get that one which everybody now knows about but don't know the rest of it. Like, I'm one of those, except I haven't hit Silicon Valley, right, with as far as success with business. And at the same time, it's not something that, again, that consumes me. I love doing what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I had and I have these different businesses that I own. And along with that, I was introduced to this software company called Replit. And, just kind of browsing through the internet and trying different things, getting educated as I mostly like to do during the mornings, having my coffee time and quiet time while the kids are at school, etc., etc., etc. And so I ran into this software company website. It was an app called Replit. And man, I was like, long story short, after I gone through 2 weeks of just being fully enveloped within it, I was like, how is this not advertised more? Or how can somebody who thinks like, for me, how can somebody who themselves think that they're kind of abreast with today's technological age and watches the news a lot, scrolls through social media a lot, whether Facebook, TikTok, right? I was like, how did I just bump into this? So yeah, man, I encourage you guys, if you guys haven't checked out Replit, Replit. Now, this comes full circle on why I am doing this particular thing. It's not like Replit cannot be thorough or survive or get more of a customer base with or without me, right? But it's just something that I just want to include. As I said, I want to try to do it in a layman's terms. Not that all other terms or ways are bad or anything. Like, I just want to be inclusive on it. I'm excited about it, and I want to do my part to do what I can to help you. So if my way and my strategy is simple and something that you can grasp and keep up and follow and understand, then hey, I've done my part. So yeah, I want to do this thing with introducing you to Replit, and because Replit is something that it's a software technology program that allows you to start your own website, right? For example, you can start your own apps, you can start your own, there's just a plethora of different things that you can do as not only as a businessman, but as they call them today, as a solopreneur or as a creator. Even if you're just a creator, if you like to do fun stuff, if you like to engage in learning and associating and socializing with people, like this software is for you. And not only is that software for you, but it's easy to learn. If you have, like, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to mimic what the owner of Replit, Ahmad, what he stated. You're probably going to hear me a number of times repeat this, because it is so true, guys. You got to have, if there was one thing that I can choose along with like just following, right? Like paying your subscription and following along with it. There's one thing that you need to have in order to be successful within whatever you are going to try to do within Replit. You got to have grit. You got to have grit, bottom line. And that grit is going to it's going to bring you to places that you yourself never thought you would be able to reach in terms of success, in terms of opportunity within the software. And because, guys, this is coming from somebody who's done it. Like, I didn't think, well, it's not that I didn't think that I could do it. It was just like there was so many complexities within the confines of what the software website and the app presents, that it's easy. The reason why you have to have grit is because it's easy to just man, why am I trying to do this? Or never mind, like, what good is this gonna? But one of the more, the frustrating thing, I guess you could say, if there are frustrating things that I would choose from, is that like anybody can go on Replit and start a website. Like, again, there's how many different things that you can do on it, but I'm just going to give you an example. Like, I started a website, right? And what you have to do within like you hear about Chat GPT, right? Well, Replit has its own function of a Chat GPT within it, right? And if I'm correct, Replit partners up or works with in some kind of way, or is intertwined with ChatGPT and OpenAI and several other platforms within the AI businesses in Silicon Valley. I might have that like partially wrong or partially right or confused, but it's all within that system, right? So what happens is you are going to have to get good in understanding prompting, like prompting. You're going to be telling the system what to do, right? You're going to be telling the chat system, the AI agent, what to do in terms of what you want to do. And in order to get the full function of what you would like to see out of your website or your app, whatever you're going to try to do, you are going to have to, like, you don't have to be super smart. You don't have to be a, coming out of Harvard University with a, like, you don't have to be none of that. You just have to find a way, and you could even just use ChatGPT for this. If you, for example, want to start, let's say that you want to start a website for the National Basketball Association. And even though you know there's other platforms out there, yada, 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 you want to do your own, right? So you have an idea that within this website that you want, that you are going to try to get subscribers to, so that you could have some kind of passive income, or maybe it can like super flourish, right, over time. So bottom line, you have an idea. You don't have to have the whole scoop of the idea. You just have to have an idea of what you want to do. So for example, you might say, well, I want to have an NBA website that is going to be centered on having a subscriber base, and that subscribership, that base will be able to come to my website and look at everything from standings, points, statistics, leaders in all these different categories, all of the up-to-date, what do you call it, the analytics that are highly used today. I want to involve all of that into my website. And so you come up with that idea, right? And let's say that you jot down some notes for that. Maybe you, like me, you use Notepad on your computer, or you use Notepad on your phone. You use Notepad, or you use Microsoft Word on your laptop, and you write it down. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be an idea. And what you're going to do after that is you copy and paste. You copy it and then you paste it to ChatGPT, or maybe you already got Replit and you're subscribing to it, which I think it's like $19.99 a month or something like that. And then there's different, you could go to like an advanced core and all this other stuff to like different upgrades and stuff within the platform. But for the basics, again, we'll stick to the basics. What's going to happen is that you're going to take what you have an idea of, you're going to copy it, and then you're going to paste it to the AI agent on that platform, right? Or to ChatGPT, whichever one that you choose. And it is going to reword it in a way that is expanding on your idea. And it's going to, like, sometimes you have two options of either, like, it's cool, man. It's super cool. You could have it come up with a quick rough draft that's going to take like 5 minutes, or you can let it do a thorough function of what its idea is of what you might want to do, and that could take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. And it's going to shoot it back to you, in which you are going to, you can review the contents of it, and you could let it add stuff on, or you could just say, you know what, that looks nice, or you can you could do whatever you want with it, guys. And so here's why I am starting my particular segment with my teachings on wanting to be helpful within Replit, right? Is that along the parameters of maintaining your grit, I want to be involved in that, because as I said earlier, anybody can go on to Replit, for example, and I'm just using that as an example because that's the one that I use. That's the one that I have found more effective and that I could easily understand and affordable, etc., etc., etc. But there's thousands of them out there, but we're just going to talk about Replit today. So yeah, anybody can go on Replit and start a website. Anybody can go on Replit and start an app, right? You can do all these different things. But here's where the complication might or could come in, is that once you are in there, like, it can get addictive, because it truly is a different stratosphere, guys. It's a different stratosphere that is just like, are you kidding me? Like, not even 2-3 years ago, you would have to go to school to get a 4-year degree or go to some kind of private technological institution and pay tens of thousands of dollars. And then on top of that, you have to come up with the funding or the scholarships in order to, or student loans in order to become a programmer, in order to become a coder, in order to become a software technician. But all of that, guys, is within your reach, like it truly is. It's within your reach within software programs such as Replit. And so again, as I said, anybody can go and start a website on Replit, and that's not where the complication is. The complication is, or can be, is that you are going to be so enveloped, so invested into the system that it's going to come to a point to where if you are not careful and if you are not serious and if you do not have that element of grit, you are just going to either crash or you're going to get frustrated, and you are going to give yourself the false perception that it doesn't work, or this is just for somebody else. And I'm here to tell you it's not for somebody else. If you can maintain, if you can have and maintain and continue in that grit, you are going to be successful within that platform in particular, and you will have your successful website. If you want a website with the full functions of all of the tabulations and all of the secure credit card processing functions, I'm telling you guys, you just have to have grit. And that's what I've learned through all of this, is that it's just, man, it's fun, it's amazing, it's awesome, it's everything as advertised. And so, yeah, I'll just end by saying this, is that I am so glad that I didn't just give up on Replit. I'm so glad that I didn't just give up on grit, because there were times where, for instance, I put $25 on top of doing my subscription. I put $25 extra for the credits, and the credits are used for because you can't just use the AI software in there for free all the time. It comes at a price, right? And so it's a give or take thing. You're getting all this knowledge, you're getting all of this help with your business, or maybe just for your own education, whatever. And so it comes to a point to where within the confines of you using this platform, you're going to be getting credits taken off. And you can get frustrated because you might be getting to some different aspect within your website. You might be getting so close and you're almost there, and then boom, it pops up on the screen to where, hey, you got to pay, your credits ran out. And you're like, yeah, my credits are running, my credits have exhausted, but and you're not talking to a real person, an agent, although those options are available. You're just in the moment, and you're dealing with the AI agent within this platform, and you're wanting it to understand you like a human, right? Obviously we are humans, you're the human, but you're wanting that AI agent to be a human. And it can get frustrating because you're like, man, yes, I understand that my credits have ran out, but it wouldn't have run out if you would just do exactly what I asked you to do in the first place, instead of having me ask you 10 different ways until you finally got it right. I thought you were smart. I thought you were AI technology, right? All that, you could just get frustrated to where you think it's human and you're going all over the place within your prompting and typing, and just that's what I did. And as I look back, I could laugh at it and share with you that those moments are going to come. And that's where I'm here to help you, because you got to know how to prompt, and you don't have to be super, filled with all this articulate grammar and because the system and the chat GPT and the AI agent, it'll help you with all of that. And as long as you maintain grit, and as long as you follow along with the steps that I'm going to introduce to you, hey, you're going to get there. So I hope that helps, and I hope that you join me in another segment to where I elaborate more on Replit and my experience with Replit and all of the intricacies within that. God bless you, and thank you for joining me on this episode. Stay healthy, my friends.